All right, I think we can get started now. Again, thank you everyone for joining. This month's Campfire session is on the project overview page. Um, so let's go over the introductions. My name is Umar. I am a customer success rep here at Aprika, and you may know me from a lot of the customer support and a lot of the customer success as well in terms of the training videos, onboardings, health checks, and so on. Um, yeah, so let's go on to the agenda. So today's agenda for the project overview page, we'll be covering what is the project overview page, how you can access it. We'll also cover off what's included, how it can be helpful to you, why you would want to use it in the first place. And then as things go with mission control, a lot of it can be customized. So we'll talk about how if it can be customized and how you can do that. Um, so this session is recorded, so if you're joining in late, that's fine. This session will be uploaded to our website under the Campfire sessions section. Um, if anybody could just use the Q&A feature or the chat feature, just let me know that's working. I'm happy to take any questions as we go along. So just let me know. Just put something in the Q&A or the chat option. Let me know if that's working. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear, and we can get started then. Okay. That's good. I can see Kai's just put in the Q&A. So everybody, the chat's disabled. You can use the Q&A for any questions you've got. Um, okay, let's get started then. So what is the project overview page? So the project overview page is the default page you see when you open up a project in Mission Control. And there's many benefits to using this page. And this page is packed full of features. There's lots of tabs you can access, and it's been designed with ease in mind. Um, so the project overview page has a number of different tabs that you can quickly jump into to get access to different information very quickly. Um, and a lot of this information is automatically filtered to that specific project, so you don't have to go through creating different filters, saving them, and so on. So some of the tabs include like the Insights tab, the Overview tab, the Action pad, the Budget, Time logs, Expenses, and so many more. We'll cover each one of those. We'll cover what information you see. And the next question, can it be customized? Yes, of course, this page can be customized, and a lot of it can be customized on a per user basis. So you have that option. You can choose to hide certain things. You can choose to adjust the order of different things. You can change some settings around. So we'll go over that as well. So let's just jump into the demo. I'll stop sharing and then share my browser screen next. Okay, so you should be able to see my browser now. I am currently on a project record page called EVGA website build. So let's say you're on the mission control tab, you open up a project. Um, let's go back to the same project. The first page you see is the overview page. That's the default landing page. Um, and you'll see there's a few different tabs at the top. Those are just some that I've added in, but generally you'll just see the related and the overview tab. Under the overview tab, these are the ones that we're going to be talking about today. So by default, you'll likely be landing on the Insights tab, and the Insights tab is really the command center for all the information in one place. It's a high level view of all of your information in regards to this project. It's so as you can see, there's a lot of different charts in here. You'll see who the project owner is, if they've got an image associated with their avatar. You'll see the project budget. This references the project budget field. You'll see how many actions you've completed within this project, as well as how many actions have been overdue. You can hover over this chart to see what those overdue actions look like. And these overdue actions are classified into different categories. So as you can see, I've only got one overdue action that's classified as low. But if you've got multiple ones in different categories, you can. This is an interactive chart, so you can choose to remove certain other parts of that component if you need to see maybe only overdue actions that are of high priority. Um, You've got similar to the completed actions, you've got your completed checklist items, and then you've got your overdue checklist items similar to the overdue actions. Again, you can choose to remove certain parts of that, certain data from that chart. You've got your CPI and the SPI indicators. Obviously, this is a new project that I've recently started, so the numbers aren't looking too good. Um, So I've got the CPI SPI indicator, which indicates how much of the scheduled revenue and against the scheduled timeline that I've set, how well the project is performing. These are figures that we've talked about in detail in the Campfire session for the PMO dashboard. I'd recommend reviewing that if you like to understand how those figures are calculated. We've got the burn down chart, which outlines the ideal number of hours that you would go through over the project timeline, as well as what your actual hours are so far. Um, you've got your risk summary and the risk matrix, which just classifies your data with the maximum the probability and the impact. So it's showing you those figures over there, and you can choose to only see certain figures. Maybe you only want to see risks which have a value of 16 or above, or and you can choose to remove some of those from there. Again, you've got your risk matrix in there. Similar to the risk summary, you've got your issues, but these are classified by status. I've only got one issue, and I can choose to interact with that chart as well. I've got some charts in here that reference the hours and the dollar values in relation to this project. So I've got the project budget, again, that references the project budget field at the top that you see in the compact layout. You've got your completed billable value, you've got your remaining billable value, how much you've completed so far, what's remaining, and what's forecasted. Um, you've got your hours. So I've got 178 hours on this project. It lets you know how many of those are billable and how many of those are non-billable. Same applies for the total hours completed and the total hours remaining. Um, you've got your purchase orders and expenses. So if you have any purchase orders, expenses, you've added in amounts, those expenses or purchase orders have been paid for. You'll see those numbers roll up over here in these charts. You've got your profit and loss summary, your profit and loss for the schedule, profit and loss for the actual, and the forecast of the profit and loss. Lastly, you've got your invoices. This is in relation to the billing events that you're creating that relate to the project, and how much of that may have been invoiced, how much remains, how much you've paid so far, and how much may be outstanding. So that's the Insights tab. This is generally the first page that you'll land on when you first install Mission Control. And on the right hand side, you've also got a trackpad here. So the trackpad, this is the second place you'll see the trackpad. One is on the Mission Control tab, and the second place is the project record page. And the main difference between the two is, again, this is also filtered to the specific project, so you'll only see information relevant to this project. So if I jump into the feed, I will only see chatter related to the specific project, and I can communicate and collaborate with my coworkers using this feed here. Um, Again, your timeline, you'll see all the information that's being added in here. You can use the load more button to bring in more data. I don't have that much past 16, so you've got your log time. It works similarly to the log time button from the utility bar at the bottom. Again, it's just going to associate the project that you see here, and you can choose to just look up the milestone action, put in your hours, add in some notes, and log that time. Similar to the log time, you've got your log expense, again, associates with your project. You've got your add action, add risk, and add issue. Again, all of them will automatically associate to the relevant record that you're on, which is a project in this instance. You can also control what your landing tab is. If I close this out, refresh my page right now, you will see that I land on the timeline tab because that's what my default tab is set to. But you can change what the landing tab is for each user. Um, Now, as you can see, I refresh my page. The overview page is what's loaded. That's because that's what my landing tab is set to. That's also one thing you can control. You can control what tab the user lands or on a per user basis. So the overview tab. So the overview tab will display your work breakdown structure and charts relating to the actions and the checklist items. So these are similar charts. This is a recurring theme. Every tab you go into, you'll see charts from the Insights tab, and that's why the Insights tab I would recommend as a high-level overview of the different areas that you need to review. So maybe there's some things that you want to review. For example, if you're on the Insights tab and you see certain actions are overdue, you can jump into the overview page and see make any updates if you need to from there. Um, So within the overview tab, you've got a section at the top that relates to charts and a section at the bottom which relates to the records within that project. So this charts at the top, those are the same from the Insights tab, but you can choose to hide these charts if you want to. Again, that's per user basis. I'll cover that off once I go over the different tabs in here. Um, the next section here is the work breakdown structure. You'll see that there's a few buttons here. So this will basically allow you to expand all and collapse all records. So right now I'm seeing all of my phases in here. That's indicated by the orange icon as well as the phase header over here. When I expand it, I'll see my milestones in there, as well as the milestone header and the different fields I've got. I expand further and I'll see my actions now indicated by the green icon, and the headers. If I expand that one more level down, I'll start seeing my checklist items indicated by the red icon, and the relevant fields for them. Um, You've got your load button here, which you can use to access the milestone loader, and it basically allows you to quickly add in milestones without having to go through all the details. So you may recall using the milestone clone page, where you can see all the milestone details as well as all the actions that are related to that milestone, and you can choose to adjust the different fields for those records. But with the milestone loader, if you just need to quickly add in a specific milestone, you can just quickly add that in. So maybe this project, I need this milestone. I can enter in a start date and it'll automatically calculate the forecast end date based on the dates of that milestone. I don't think I have any dates, that's why it's not calculating. Let me choose another example. So let's go for here. Data migration. Yeah, so you can see that's going to calculate the forecast end date based on the dates of that milestone. Um, you can choose to clone the contributors and the checklist items. And if it's a large number of milestones that you're copying in, or it's a very large milestone that you're copying in, we would recommend running the run asynchronous checkbox. Leave that as true, and that'll run this process in the background via batch, so that you don't run into cover limits. Yeah, so just select the milestones you want, click the load milestone button, and it'll add that milestone in. You've got a new button that just allows you to create a new milestone really quickly from within this page. It automatically associates with the project, and yeah. You've got a gear icon here, the settings icon. This will allow you to adjust the different sorting or order for the different fields that you see here. So you've got the phase, the milestone, the action, and the checklist item. So this is what the default order looks like. You can choose to adjust that to your requirements. And there's a reset button at the bottom. So if it's not something that you want to continue to use, you can reset that to the defaults and stick with it. Make sure to click save once you've done that. Yeah. So let's talk about the different records that you see here. Phase, again, it's an optional feature, optional level layer that you can use, but really the work starts on the milestone and the action levels. Same applies for the checklist. That's just an optional layer, but the milestone and the checklist items are the milestones and the actions are the ones that you're going to be using most frequently. Um, at the end, you'll see there's a few icons. You've got the pencil icon, which indicates you can edit it, and it'll open up the edit modal for that relevant record. You can update the relevant fields for them. Um, You've got the bin icon here, which deletes the record for you. So just click on that and it'll confirm, and then you can delete it. For the milestone row over here, you'll see that there's an icon, a green icon here, which indicates that you can create a new action that relates to that specific milestone. So if you need to quickly create multiple actions, you can do that from here. Um, Next to the action, you've got a number of different icons. Let's take this one, for example. So you've got the resource assignment wizard icon. So when you click into it, you'll be able to access the resource assignment wizard. You can look up resources that you want to assign to this action, and add in the hours that they're supposed to be working, and so on. So that's the resource assignment wizard. If you've got contributors on that action, you'll be able to see an icon here called has contributors. You'll see how many hours they've been scheduled, billable, non-billable, how many hours they've completed, billable, non-billable. You've got your clock icon here, which you're able to use to log your time to that specific action. It's very similar to that log time button here, or via the trackpad. It'll automatically associate with the action in this instance. You just need to put in your hours and your notes if you need to. After that, you've got your issue manager. So the issue manager allows you to create issues that relate to this action. So whatever action you open it in the context of, the actions will be related to it. So the checklist, you can create the checklist items from here. Um, let's just cancel out that, and then you've got your issue manager icon. Similar to the checklist item manager, you've got your issue manager icon that you can access your different records for. Again, it automatically associates it with the project and the action. And when you start creating those checklist items, issues, you'll start also seeing them when you start using the other tools first. So, for example, if I create an issue for an action here, I'll see that in the issue log once I load that up. You've got your action splitter icon, and this is basically allows you to split your action into two different actions. So when I click into it here, I will see this window pop up. So on the left-hand side, I've got the some of the key fields that you would need to update. So you've got your action name, owner, milestones, if you need to add in some contributors, the start and end date, how many hours is scheduled to it, and you can update that. So maybe it's going to be another requirements session that we need to break down. You can update those details, and you'll have a new action split. You've got your edit icon, you've got your delete icon there. So that's for the actions. For the checklist item, you've got the pencil icon to edit and the delete icon to delete it. Um, Now, I'm currently on a very large monitor, but if you're using a small screen, this is probably closer to what you see, a bit more zoomed in, and you have to use the different scroll bars on the right hand side and the bottom. Um, so this may not always be useful for you. So you may find yourself scrolling all the way to the right to have to access those icons. Well, what we've now recently done is we've added in a three-dot menu here that you can see next to each icon. When you click into it, you'll be able to see the same icons that you see on the right-hand side. So that's just makes it easier for you to not have to scroll to the right and left every single time that you need to edit records. So again, you'll see the same icons that you see on the right-hand side. Um, so when you click on it, this pop-up will come up and it will stay there. But if you want to get rid of it, you can click on that icon again or just click outside anywhere. So you've got your resource assignment wizard, your log time icon, your checklist item manager, the issue manager, the action split, the edit icon, the delete icon. Yeah. So let me just zoom out. Okay. So you've got your, as I mentioned earlier, you've got your expand all and collapse all buttons at the top, but maybe you only want to collapse certain milestones. Maybe these are complete, so you can close them off, and you can see the ones that you want to see. So the expand all and collapse all, this is a persistently remembered setting. So if you jump across different projects, you'll see that so for example, you've opened up all the way to the milestone level. When you jump to another project, you'll see that your records will be opened up to the milestone level as well. So that's the overview page. You'll see that there's a lot of fields in here for the phase, the milestone. If it's too much for you or if it's too less, maybe you need to replace some different fields in here. You can do that. You have that option. And that's done via a field set, and that applies org-wide. So if I go into setup from here, I can jump into the object manager. I can look up the different objects. So there's a phase object that I can update the fields for. There's the milestone, action, and lastly the checklist item. So just from here, just jump into the field sets section, um, and you'll see a project overview tab fields. So when you click on it, you'll see some fields in there that are there by default. I've adjusted some of my fields, but you can choose to remove some of them. You can choose to add some of them. Um, Make sure to click save once you've made those changes. And when you come back to it and refresh your page, you'll see those fields those updates have been made. Again, for the milestone, you go into the field sets, and there's the project overview tab fields. For the action, field sets, project overview tab fields, checklist item, you've got your project overview tab fields. So those are your different fields in there. Let's close that out, jump back in here. Okay. Let's jump to the next tab, the detail tab. So the detail tab is it contains all of your information in for the from the page layout of your project record. Um, and this is your the standard page layout. So if you're looking to get details on what field is being captured or what data is being captured on the different fields of your project, this is what you could use. So this tab gives you access to the standard detail page layout based on the project's record type or the user's page layout assignment. Um, so this is also one of those pages where you will see those changes made on the different page layouts. So you'll see the different fields in here from the project record. Yeah. And if you need to adjust any of them, you can click the edit icon and that'll open up the detail edit modal for it. Okay, so that's the detail tab. You've got your budget tab. So the budget tab, you'll see some charts in here. Again, you can choose to hide some of these charts for the different users. And just leave the section at the bottom if you need to. So at the section at the bottom, you'll see there's an all tab, summary, schedule, completed, forecast, P&L, GM, and variance. So the all tab will show you all the fields relevant to the budgets. So if there's a lot of fields in there, but maybe you just want to look at the completed values for this for a specific budget item, or maybe you want to look at the forecast. It'll just narrow down the search results for you, and then bring those fields to the front. You've got your different tabs there that you can use. You've got a manage budget icon button here. So when you click into it, this is how you'll create your budget items. So remember, the project budget is just a static value. The budget items are if you want to go into a bit more detail and define them. So I've got a design, but I've set a budget for the design of the phase of the milestone. I've set my billable and my cost budget, and I can include that into the weekly status report. So you can add rows from here using this button. Maybe you want to add multiple rows, you can do that, or you can just put in the budget name from here. Um, Enter a budget, press enter, and that will add that budget in for you. So that's how you can use to create the different budget items. Make sure to click save once you've made those changes, otherwise it won't save. So that's the budget item tab. So you've got your budget summary here. That's the total of the different budgets and the totals for them. You've got your category summary, what category they'll belong to. Again, that's a pick list value that you can update from the object manager for the budget item object. You got your profit and loss summary for the different budgets, as well as the gross margin and the variance. Okay, so the action pad, I'm sure you're all aware of it. So the action pad allows you to adjust all, basically access all of your actions in one place, and it provides that information in a sort of a table manner that you can see here. And if you need to adjust a lot of the information, if you need to update some of these records, you can use the action details section. So at the top, you'll see you've got a summary section which outlines some of the charts that we've previously seen. You can use the collapse feature to collapse that if not going to be using it. Here's your action log. You can see all the actions that are relevant to this specific project. So that's automatically filtered. You don't need to add in filters face off here. You've got a keyword search that you can use. You can quickly create actions by entering in just the milestone, the role it associates with, and the action name. And again, so these are all some field. You'll see a lot of fields in here. You can adjust that using the action pad settings. You can include or remove or add some of your own custom fields in here. You've got your different icons that you saw earlier for the actions. So you've got your action owner, the has contributors, resource assignment wizard, log time, issue manager, and the checklist item manager. Yeah, so we have done a few training videos on the action pad, and we go in a bit more detail on the different features. So I'd recommend reviewing that. You've got your time logs tab. The time logs tab will show you all of your hours, all of the time that you've logged in that project. So again, you're seeing that similar chart for the burn down, and you've got your hours chart here. This by default, this will only load up to 50 records. I don't have more than 10 here, so that's why it's only showing 10. But if you've got more than 50 time logs, you can use the load more button that should help you stick within the governor limits. You can choose to adjust what fields you see here. So I can go to the, again, object manager. I can look up the time log object. Just make sure any changes you're making, run them past your system admin, or just have your system admin do this, because these changes will apply to throughout your org. Um, any of these field set changes. So you've got your project overview time log tab fields. This is the one you want to edit if you want to adjust the fields that you see here. You've got a new button here that you can use to create a new time log. Yeah. You've got your expenses tab. So the expenses tab is where you can create your expenses as well as your purchase or purchase orders. So if you need to do that, you can do that from here. You can use the new PO button or the new expense button to create the relevant record. Once you start creating those records and entering in those figures, you'll start seeing the charts, the amounts and the charts populate over here. Again, you can also adjust what fields you see here. You just have to go to the object manager, look up the expense or the purchase order object, and adjust the fields that you see there. So for the expense and the purchase field set. So you've got your project expense tab fields and the project expense tab fields for the distinct two different objects. Um, Up next is the risk log. Again, similar to the action pad, your risk log, your issue log, your whiteboard, your checklist board, your scheduler, your retro, all of these tabs, they're all standalone tabs that you can access them. But when you're accessing them in the context of a project, you'll only see records that relate to this specific project. So I've only got two risks in here. I don't need to add in additional filters. So I can see the relevant charts update based on that data. But again, we have videos covering off the risk log, issue log in our Campfire session that you can review. You've got your issue log, same as before. You can use the collapse buttons to hide some of these charts, and you can use a quick create feature. You can adjust some of the fields in here. Um, yeah. So up next is the billing tab. So the billing tab is where you come in to create invoices or see invoices that have been created or generated automatically if you've set it up accordingly. So you've got your billing event summary that'll identify the different status you've got. I've only got one here, but you can see the different status, the different amounts for them. You'll see your credit notes as well. On the right hand side, you've got your invoices chart that we saw earlier in the Insights tab, and it's just displaying that same information in here. Again, you can hide that for the user if you want to. Well, I'll cover that off soon. So the billing events, you can create a new billing event using the new button, and in some certain cases you'll see a generate button here as well, and that's if you're using the controlled or milestone billing type. So there's that. So when you expand this billing event, if you've created billing event items, or if the just system has generated that for you, you'll see the billing event item, the amounts, and any other details that you've added in, as well as if you've created a billing payment. So to create a billing event item, you click on the drop down for the billing event. You can choose to create a new billing event item or a new billing payment. So you can delete and edit these records as well. So again, similar options over there. And that's how you access the billing events that are related to this project. Up next, you've got your whiteboard. Again, it's a Kanban board for all of your actions. You can choose to there are different ways you can update your actions. So one of them was to either use the overview tab, you can use the action pad, you can use a whiteboard, you can use a Gantt chart, so you can use a scheduler even. So different options, different people they like different options. So you've got those options for you. You've got currently this is set to categorize all my actions by milestone. I can choose to update that by status. I can make those updates right away. Just drag and drop. I've got some fields in here. Again, you can adjust a lot of these fields. A lot of this is covered in the separate training resources available on our website. But yeah, you'll see all your action cards in here. And you can adjust the different fields. You can view them in more detail. You can log time. You can assign resources. You can edit them. You can delete them. You can create new. milestones or actions from here. You've got your summary field information that you can see. You've got your filters in there. You've got your expand all, collapse all buttons, your whiteboard settings, and so on. Similar to the whiteboard, you've got your checklist board, which is a Kanban for the checklist items in your org, in the specific project. Again, it's filtered to that project, so you'll only see checklist items that you've created within that project. Um, Again, similar functionality, and we have a separate resource if you'd like to go learn more about this in a bit more detail. You've got your Gantt chart next. This will also be filtered to your Gantt to the specific project. So normally when you use the standalone Gantt chart, it opens up the filter modal where you can select what projects are to be entered in, but this one will automatically filter it for you. So I can see my Gantt chart in here. Got the various Gantt chart buttons, the different export features, and so on. Up next, I've got the revenue recognition. So the revenue recognition is part of the PMO dashboard. And again, that's covered in a lot more detail in one of our previous Campfire sessions. But the revenue recognition allows you to see how much of the revenue has been recognized so far. And you'll see all of that information in here. You can choose to select different date ranges if you want to, and choose to view that on a weekly or a monthly basis. So this is a separate tab that you see inside the PMO dashboard, and you can export this as a CSV as well. You've got your scheduler. So the scheduler here, same concept, same functionality, just filtered to the same to this project. So you can choose to adjust, only see relevant actions to the specific project without having to create filters. I've got polling enabled, so it's taking a bit to reload. So yeah, so there's the all of my resources within this project. Looking at let's go into the actions view, and I'll see all of my actions for this specific project. Probably need to adjust the dates for it. Yeah, so I've got the different views in there. All of that same functionality. Again, we recently did a Campfire session on this, so I'd recommend reviewing that if you have any questions in here. Lastly, you've got your retro board. Again, this is also filtered to the retrospective that relates to this project. So you'll see your learning cards in there. Again, it's a Kanban board. You can drag and drop learnings around. You can update them if you need to using the eye icon here, delete them if you need to, create new ones, create a different retro. You can use the column headings to adjust how those different values are categorized. Again, we have a separate resource available on our website. If you have any questions on this, I'd recommend reviewing that. So that's the different tabs you've got. Now it's possible you probably don't want to give access, or maybe users are not going to be using a lot of these different tabs. You can adjust how what fields what tabs are visible to the users. So if I just jump into the role tab here, you'll see I've got a list view called roles permissions project overview page. So this is available to you. We recently added this in our last major release, and you'll be able to see all the relevant fields that relate to the project overview page. So you can make mass updates in here. Maybe a lot of the users aren't going to be using the Insights tab. You can choose to select all those users, apply that change, and you can remove that. You can also choose to update the different tabs that you see: the insights, the overview, the budget, the action pad, time logs, and so on. There are more fields that you can choose to update, but let's jump into a single role record and review some of those other fields. So I'm on my own role record. I can edit, and I can just scroll down to the relevant sections to update those fields. Okay, so I just scroll down to the project overview settings section, so I can set my default tab. So currently it's defaulting to the overview tab. I can have it land on the whiteboard because that's what I use the most. Maybe I can remove the insights tab from my view. I'm not going to be using the retro, the budget, the scheduler, the revenue. I'm not going to be using any of those, not the checklist board, not the billing tab. And these changes will be reflected once I save and refresh my project overview page. I can also choose to remove some of these charts, and yeah, maybe I'm not going to be using them that frequently, or maybe I shouldn't have access to them, so I'll just remove them altogether. Don't want to see the expenses, all the risk charts, all the billing tab charts. Um, you've got your So those were for the individual tabs and the charts within those individual tabs. There is one more tab called the Insights Charts tab, and you can control those individual charts within that tab. So if I jump in here, go to Insights, so you'll see there's you can control visibility of individual charts for the specific tab, and that's under this section, Project Overview, Insights, Chart Settings. So you can check that box, make sure that's available, and maybe you don't want to see the CPI, SPI, or the risk summary, or the billable. So I've got a question in here. Can we block team members from taking a tab we don't want them to view? Yeah, so that would be done via the permissions. So uh, you make sure users don't have access to these fields to prevent them from blocking that or unblocking that for that if they want to make those changes. Just make sure their field level security is set up correctly so they can just view it, not edit it. Hope that answers your question. Okay. I've got the Gantt chart setting, so that's not relevant here. Yeah, so it's really these two sections for the project overview page. So once I click save and it does now. So if I go ahead and refresh my page now, so now you'll see I've got a lot less tabs in here. My default is the whiteboard, and if I jump into a few different tabs, charts may be missing because I've set it so I've set it up as such. I've got the overview tab in here. The insights, you'll see a few less charts in here because I've removed some of those charts. And again, this is on an individual user basis, so you've got a lot of control over that. And yeah, so are there any, I've got a question in here. Are there any predefined dashboards or reports in the project overview page that display the project status on a weekly or a monthly basis, including details such as the task currently being worked on and their completion percentage? Or can I configure custom reports to achieve this? We do have a very similar feature as you described it. It's called the project status report, and it's accessed by a button here called the project status report. When you access this report, it's gonna I'm not sure if I've set it up to include all of the data in there. But basically, you'll see this is a report that you can either distribute manually, or you can choose to set up a schedule where it automatically sends out these reports to the relevant stakeholders. Um, and it sends, you can choose what day it goes out to, what information is included, what records are included. So there's a lot of flexibility in that, and we have done a Campfire session on this previously. So I'd recommend reviewing that, and there have been some enhancements to it in our most recent release 1.67. So I'd recommend reviewing those enhancements as well. um, so you'll see how much the project completion, how many tasks have been completed, the different milestones within that project, what the project status is, the start and end dates. You can obviously customize this report as well. You can choose to add or remove certain things that you don't want to see in here, like the different records, the different sections. So you've got your project detail section, you've got your Gantt chart view right now. I don't have that many settings enabled right now, but if I were to just go on to edit and just look up the weekly status report, yeah, so that button relates to the schedule. You'll want to make sure you set up the schedule from the control pad. Um, and you can set in the start and end dates for what data should be included in terms of the time logs. Um, you can set a hero image that you see at the very start. You can choose to include the time logs, the issues, the checklist items, a change request, the Gantt chart, the budget items. So you have a lot of freedom in including that information and sharing that with your stakeholders. Hope that answers your question. Yeah, so that's all I have on the project overview page. If you have any questions, let me know. Hope this session was beneficial. But if you have any questions after the call, happy for you to reach out to us on our support email, support@aprika.com, or you can submit tickets at aprika.com. Is that support? Um, Yeah, so here are a lot of links to a lot of our resources. If you're looking to get into a lot more detail of the different features that we've discussed, you'll be able to find a lot of the information here. So I've got a question in here. How do we view previous Campfire webinars? Yeah. So I'll just share my browser screen. Just 1 second. So we record our Campfire sessions and upload them to our website. So if you just go to aprika.com, there's a section called resources. Under resources, you'll see Cosmo Campfire webinars. And along with that, you'll see some other resources as well that you can access. So the Campfire session, you can just scroll down further. At the top, you can sign up for the upcoming Campfire, and at the bottom, you'll see all the different Campfire sessions in here. So the scheduler, one of them I mentioned earlier, you've got your PMO dashboard, you've got your risks and issues, and so on. We've got a full library of them. So yeah. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you for joining today's call. Thank you for your time. Hopefully this was beneficial, and we'll see you in the next one. All right. Thank you. Bye.